Hi, I'm Laura Damm, Student Success Coordinator. When I began planning for this presentation, it was with the image of our students as Dorothy and our institution as Glenda, helping Dorothy in successfully following the yellow brick road to completion. As I continued to prepare, I realized that the character of Dorothy was also a metaphor for our institution, and the yellow brick road was our journey in understanding and promoting student success. The winds of change began before 2008. Some of the items flying by our window at the time were falling retention rates and low graduation rates. Then we landed with a bump in Oz and opened the door to a new journey to increase student success. In Frank Baum's book, Dorothy is gifted with a pair of silver shoes. Our silver shoes, our tools to assist with student success, at that time included the colleague program evaluation in our student information system and some scattered tutoring. Just as the color film technology revolutionized cinema, we hope that new technology solutions will help us to better monitor student progress and help increasing number of students to earn a post-secondary credential. So we've ditched the silver shoes and embraced the ruby slippers. Our first ruby slipper was early emails to student prospects. Beginning spring 2012, prospective students were able to receive email messages directly from the financial aid office, registrars, and the dean of students. Previously, student email accounts were not activated until the first day of class. Important announcements about deadlines and orientation dates were sent by automated phone messages. The process was very restrictive. Each department had to submit a help desk ticket to request the IT department send out their message. The voice message was restricted by length of recording and the time of day the messages could be released. The computer voice sounded very mechanical, and there was no ability for the students to opt out of receiving those messages. With the move to email, each department was given control of their own communication management. Our IT department no longer functioned as the middleman. More detailed messages could be sent and targeted to specific populations, and early connections established between students and those offices which provide student support services. On the other foot is new technology that we implemented in fall 2013. Having connected with the students and gotten them to campus or online, our next step is to monitor their progress towards the Emerald City. Formerly, EMCC relied on colleagues' degree audit program to help students understand their progress towards their certificate or degree completion. However, we realized that many students were planning only for the next semester and planning at the last minute. In their short-sightedness, many students were switching between programs and skipping core classes to take too many electives. The delay in graduation was reducing the amount of federal financial aid available to them to finish with us and perhaps transfer to completed bachelor's degree. To enhance curriculum advising, we chose Ellucian Student Planning because of its capability to build a 2-year plan and to inspire the student to engage in self-planning. I'll turn you over now to Aaron Brooks, our Administrative Computing Director, for a look at this product. Maybe.
Its own website, and I'd like to introduce you to the Greetings. My name is Aaron Brooks, and I'd like to introduce you to the Student Planning module here at East Mississippi Community College. We are a current customer of Ellucian, who provides our student information system, which is Colleague, and they are efforting a self-service module that includes a number of things, and student planning happens to be one of those extensible modules. So when a student logs into the student portal, here's the page that they're fronted with, and there are plenty of links and options that they're able to take advantage of. And one of those options happens to be student planning. Student planning is basically its own website, and we're allowed to manage the CSS, coding, so we could actually change the colors, change some of the wording. We could add a few comments if we needed to, throw your logo up there. So there's some customizing the opportunities that are available to us. Here on the home page for a student, they're able to see the current program that they're in, as well as their current GPA and the progress that they've made towards the requirements of fulfilling the program. Below is a weekly grade for their current term. Of course, I'm not in any classes at this particular time, so I have no classes shown here, but I'll show you what that looks like. Box 1 basically shows the student their present state, where they are right now, the progress they've made, and what's left to make. Box 2 basically gives them opportunity to plan their future. So they can take the present and then plan out into the future. So let's start with the view my progress. And out of the view my progress, once again, they're able to see the liberal arts. Here they're able to see their cumulative GPA. This GPA would include all transfer work. The institution GPA would only include credits obtained here at East Mississippi Community College. It'll also show the current catalog that they fall under, and those are the rules that will apply in the background. And once again, they can see the progress, total credits, institution credits, so the transfer work would appear in the second bar, and then you can see the number of credits that have been planned. So right now I have 13 credits that I've planned to take out in the future. Below, moving too fast here, below are the requirements for this liberal arts program. Okay, so in order to receive an Associate of Arts, I have to fulfill each of the requirements that are listed below. And you'll notice that as I complete the requirements, it checks off the list. So in our rules, we explicitly require English Comp 1 and English Comp 2. Whereas in our math requirement, you'll notice they can take Math 1313 or higher. So you can have college algebra, or you can do trigonometry or some form of calculus or whatnot, and that'll fulfill this particular math requirement. And of course, there are details to give you some of the options. For instance, it has to be a level 100 or 200, meaning that developmental math is not going to count towards obtaining your degree, and which you see excluded here in the list. So as you plan for classes out in the future, you'll notice the yellow check mark, but it's not green yet because it hasn't been fulfilled. And it also shows you the term that I'm planning to fulfill this requirement. Okay, so we'll just move on right along, and you'll notice other courses that I've planned out, other requirements that have to be fulfilled, and of course, you can see the ones that are explicit and then the ones that are implicit. For instance, the lab science requirement is rather vague, and I think that's an issue that we're going to have to clean up. But just take 2 lab sciences with these subjects, and of course it gives you a little detail that you just choose from the Department of Science and go with that. So let's see what it looks like in planning out a course. So for humanities, I need to take 6 hours of either history or English or English lit or humanities or foreign language, whatnot. So let's do a search, and I'm into some history. But the thing is, I want to find something that's available for second intensive this semester, because I know that's open right now. And there's a Western Seal. Let's see. There's nothing available now. No Western Seal 2. This is not looking too good. So that means I may need to step back and let's see if there's an English lit. There isn't. So what I'll have to do is I'll go back and I'll plan for a math. I know there's a math available. Search. Right now I plan to take my math in summer, but I think I want to move that up because I want to get it over with. So let's look for spring intensive 2. There we are. And here's a college algebra that's available. There, we're going to take spring intensive 2. And you'll also notice that it does prerequisite and co-requisite checking as well. So that allows a student to know right away if they're eligible for this course or not. I'm going to add that to my plan. And you'll notice up here that it says, hey, you've already done this. You've added this to your plan. So I can go and remove it from the summer and go ahead and apply it to my second intensive. So right now it's just on the plan. But if we go to plan and schedule, we'll see, okay, I have nothing for the full term. But if I click on timeline, you'll see that I have a couple of things here planned for spring intensive 2. Now there's the one for the summer. I'm deciding, I'm not going to do that in the summer. But I may take something else in the summer. So rather than get rid of the whole term, I'll get rid of the class. All right, and art appreciation I have in the spring, but if you click on it, you'll notice there aren't any sections available. So I won't be taking that second intensive. But there should be some sections available for math. So click on that and look at there. There's some sections available. And you'll notice that they're all after 6 p.m. Man, that's going to make it tough. But I'm going to fit it on my schedule. So this section is full. No seats available. And you'll notice that there with the exclamation point. So I have these options to choose from. And over here, it gives a little blurb of how many seats available, who the instructor is, the time. And you'll notice here, this one's at Naval Air Station Meridian. I'm not driving that far. So really my only option is here. All right, so here I am. I'm ready to add this booger to my schedule. And this is the actual section. We added the course to the plan. Now this is actually adding the section to my schedule. So I'm fine with that. I'm going to add it to the schedule. And what you'll notice is over here in the right corner that the register now button, because the registration period for second intensive is open, I can now register for that particular class. But I won't click the registration button because it causes bills and all kinds of stuff in the background. So we'll leave that there. But once again, on the timeline, now that I have spring intensive 2 taken care of, I could come over here and work with my summer, add some courses. You'll see for fall, I've got some courses, and I could just add terms as I please, all the way out and finish my whole career out with a plan. Once again, this is all in pencil because I haven't actually registered. So if I decide that, you know what, spring intensive 2 is going to be it, and I'm calling it quits, then I could just remove all of those courses, and that erases what I've planned out. The course catalog basically shows every subject area that we provide in the print catalog and all of the courses that fall under that area. So if we do accounting, we're able to see all of the accounting courses that we offer at East Mississippi Community College. And then you could add them to the plan if you so desire. And that, my friend, is student planning in a nutshell. Greetings, my name is Aaron, and I'd like to walk you through a quick demo of our student planning module for advisors. Advisors would log in to our East Mississippi Community College portal, where they have all kinds of options, and amongst those is a link to our student planning module. This module is a self-service website intended to provide self-service tools for both employees as well as students to basically take care of the business, as much business as they can on their own without needing intervention from anyone else. The advising module, though, is basically an intervention tool. The intent of the module for the student side is to put the onus on the student to take charge of their educational career here at East Mississippi Community College. Once their program is set, then it's up to them to plan out their courses. They can plan out in one setting their whole career here at EMCC for 2 years, 1 year, 6 months, however long they intend to be here to receive the credential or classes that they need. From an advisor perspective, it's basically to monitor the activity of their advisees and to give them help where needed. Now you'll notice the notification bar up here. If a student needs help, they can send a notification. We are working with the Lucian to hopefully get that notification sent to the email so that an advisor doesn't have to always log in to see if there's anything waiting. Your advisees are listed here below, but you have the opportunity to work with any student on campus by simply typing in their name or their student ID. I won't use her because I do not have permission to use her data. And so we click on our advisee here, and you'll notice that we have a notification she has library hold. So any type of issues like that that could impede the success of the student will pop up for an advisor to see. Then an advisor could then send a note, as you see I've done, and tell her, hey, get on it. You need to go pay that fee in the library. Okay? And a history is kept of those notes. So here on the course plan page, we'll get rid of that. We're able to see the courses that she's currently in right now. She's registered for, and that's what she's in for this present term. We can cycle through to see she's also on the online course. And she hasn't planned out anything for summer, but hey, she wants to do this in summer intensive too. Okay, and you'll notice that I've come through and I've approved those particular classes, and I can do a review, complete, and it will then archive that plan. So I have a historical reference of every time that I review her plan, and then give my approval or denial. Okay. Now, there are two paths that you can take with student planning for advising. We could actually require that a student has approval of their advisor in order to register for classes. Right now, East Mississippi Community College has left it pretty much wide open. So students can go out there, plan for classes, add those classes to their schedule, and then register for those classes without any approval. The first semester, it's required that you sit with an advisor or counselor and get your schedule taken care of. But after that, it's all on the student. We can look at the student's progress here to see the progress that they're making towards the degree requirements. And we can see what her GPA is. We can see how many hours she's completed, how many she's had in progress, how many she's planned for. And here's the total number. That's the magic number she has to reach. And then within the requirements, we can see the sub-requirements that she's completed, the ones she's planned for. And just go through the list, check everything off. Yep, looks like she's doing pretty good. Here's her second intensive stuff for the summer that she's planning to take. And this looks like where maybe a little bit of fatigue set in, and she just sort of shut things down. So we could send her notes and, hey, hey, let's finish up the plan. Let's get everything taken care of, so you'll be able to plan ahead and stay ahead. And this shows in a lump sum everything that she's completed, started, and planned out. You'll also notice that each requirement will have a little description and details of the requirement as well. So this is really meant for the student to control and pretty much lead their registration process, and then an advisor can step in as needed. So they're not required to handhold as much. Now, the student did come face to face and said, I was really thinking about changing my program to architecture. An advisor could pull up the architecture program and look at the requirements, and then convey to the student the necessary steps that they would need to take in order to get into the program, as well as whether or not the classes they've taken would apply seamlessly to that new program, or if it will extend their time. There may be some classes that they have planned that wouldn't be a good fit. For instance, do you really need nutrition or chemistry for architecture? Maybe you could change that to general biology, or something like that. And of course, this is temporary because it's a what-if scenario. So they have to go through the proper channels of getting that program changed. And you could essentially go list by list and just pull up all types of programs for the student to do the what-if analysis. Then a student that may desire a particular class in a particular subject. So for instance, if a student was really digging some music right about now, then you could come into art and maybe you could scroll through to see if there was any music appreciation available under the arts, which right now these are only the art classes. So we could do a search there. It's probably under the music subject. And then we could pick out some music classes. And of course, there's descriptions and all that good stuff for giving a definition of what the class is about, where the class is taught, what time the class is taught, and all that good stuff. If there are any sections available, you'll notice that for some of the classes, there aren't any sections available. So it would probably be a waste of time to add that to their plan. And if any notes were needed, for instance, you'll see I've sort of chided her a little bit, told her, hey, you need to work a little harder. After doing a review, it seemed that a couple of classes maybe she wasn't doing too well on. And again, for historical purposes and reference, this history is saved. So you can always come back and say, hey, I sent you this note, or hey, I reviewed your plan on this date. And that, my friend, is student planning for advisors in a nutshell.
In addition to Ruby Slippers, Dorothy had support along the Yellow Brick Road from the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and Lion. Likewise, in addition to overall curriculum planning advising, we sought a solution for course advising. Just as Dorothy needed a little help out of the poppy field, we felt that our students needed to know when they had strayed off the path to success. In 2009, EMCC piloted a homegrown early alert procedure with 80 students on a residential campus. The process was overseen by a counselor who relied upon instructor input regarding at-risk students. Instructors submitted information about a student's poor attitude, low test grades, or other problems in Blackboard, and then followed up with an email to that counselor to notify her to check Blackboard for that information. The counselor then emailed the student to come and meet with her to drop a support plan. And that may have included a visit to the Assistant Dean of Instruction and follow-up visits with counselors. After learning that there was no consequence for failing to keep an appointment, however, students began skipping out on those appointments. When this process was scaled to all campuses the following academic year, the problems and frustrations were multiplied, the counselor running the process retired in ill health, and we had to find a new tool. We chose Smartyval's Drop Guard because of its ability to address specific student behaviors and its institution-wide capability to share data and information with different campus offices. Let's take a look at a brief video demonstration of the Drop Guard product. Instructors have two ways to access Drop Guard. We've included a link on our portal, which opens to a login page. Alternatively, instructors and students may access Drop Guard through Canvas, clicking on the SOS Course Evaluations button. Because of the single sign-on capability of Canvas, there's no need to enter a user ID or password here, which is helpful. Once instructors have accessed Drop Guard, they select the term, and then they're going to click on warning signs to enter notices about student behavior. Here we are at spring 2014. I've selected warp theory and Odo. I have to warn him that he was absent from class. If I need to change the date, if this absence didn't occur on today's date, I simply highlight and change that information. Now, Drop Guard will populate it by either today's date if we had class, or if class was yesterday, it'll automatically put that date in. So if instructors complete the warnings on the same day as the class. They don't need to make any changes. So I might have to go in and enter another date, and then I click Save Changes and OK. Now, when I do this procedure, several things happen. An A for absent appears on the attendance audit report. An email is sent to all addresses the student has provided to our system, Gmail, Yahoo, in addition to their student account. And a voice message is sent for the absence warning between 11 o'clock and 4 to the student's primary number. Also, 5 points are added to that student's risk calculator in the summary report of all students at risk. So when you click on all warnings for a student, this is what you see: a history of the warnings sent out, a class schedule, and also there's some demographic information here too. I'm going to return now to the administrator's dashboard. There's all kinds of helpful information here. Now, here's an example of a warning that I was able to tailor to our institution. This is the online class absence warning. So it gives information about different support services, the tutoring, the help desk for IT problems, and the Dean of e-learning for any e-learning issues. Now, what's most helpful here is the summary of events and notices, which I can't show you because it has private information in it, but also this warnings by semester shows you our usage over the past. I can also check to see which instructors are not going in on a regular basis to update attendance and to give warnings, because the system does not work without instructor input. There's also a 3-week survey in which students can self-report if they feel that they are unprepared academically, and that is a way for them to raise a flag to say, I need some help. So a summary of the student's warnings located under that SOS button in Canvas, so that when a student logs in and clicks on that button, he or she can see how many warnings they have from each class, how many absences they have in each class, so that they can be careful and monitor their behavior on a regular basis. Now, deans, designated personnel from financial aid office, registrar's office, dean of students have access to that summary report. So they are able to check and see which students need their support, or if students have come to them for a problem or question, they can take that opportunity to see what else is going on in that student's life and hopefully provide support to that student. Now, have we encountered any flying monkeys on our journey? You bet. We've faced challenges in managing the software installation, managing change, and supporting the institution to embrace and implement the full power of the tools. The first flying monkey we encountered was software installation. We purchased our guard about 6 weeks before the start of the summer term. Since we've been assured that setup was simple, we planned to pilot the software with our summer courses. Unfortunately, there were some data dictionary errors that resulted in us having to eliminate all the data we'd entered and start from scratch. By the time we had it going properly, we were already 3 weeks into the semester, so it didn't really work as an early alert, but it was piloted by some instructors, and we were definitely ready to go for the fall. We find that improvements are made continually to the product, and customer support is very helpful in answering our questions. Installation of the Ellucian student planning module went very well. Now, in order to manage the change to student planning, we offered professional development to our faculty and 2 weeks of student training sessions in the fall, in addition to our 2 summer orientations. We will repeat these intense student trainings each semester to provide continual training. We imagined that the technology solution would enable highly motivated students to complete their planning and advising online, and that this would free up advisors to work with students who needed more assistance or to work with those students who only had critical issues. We were motivated by our large online population and saw this technology as a way to accommodate those students by eliminating the necessity of their taking off work or securing a babysitter in order to make a trip to campus. What we're finding is that while students think the new process is exciting and easy to use, they still crave that face-to-face time with their advisor. User buy-in has been a key concern for faculty adoption. Because faculty was not given input, perhaps, to the purchasing discussion, they were not convinced for the need of the change, and they did not participate in training sessions to a large degree and generally resisted the change. For example, when I dropped in on late registration in January, the faculty member supervising that area had only distributed the handout, the self-help guide for the old registration way and not the new way. With DropGuard, professional development of faculty and staff was more successful. There was already buy-in to the concept of the early alert process due to that homegrown process, and DropGuard answered all the issues that we had with the complexity of submitting information through that old system. Now, with just 2 clicks of a mouse, instructors are able to send a message to the student and notify all other offices of the situation. We also have instructors who had always been conscientious about contacting students through email, and they're very happy that the time spent on that issue is greatly reduced through this product. After using DropGuard for 1 year, we purchased the attendance add-on, which was again eliminating work for the IT department, and in addition to saving paper, save time because the instructors were able to, as they put in the absence warnings, they were able to complete the job without having to take time out to gather all that information on paper. So our goal for usage by full-time faculty was 100%, and we made it to 98% in 1 year. We're very happy with that. Another flying monkey is that of supporting the institution to embrace and implement the full power of the tools. We were able to provide a small incentive, gift cards for $5 or $10 to Subway or Sonic to the students to entice them to the training sessions. Nearly 200 students attended those, and 5 months later, over 3,000 students have used student planning and created a plan. Another reward for students who use the planning module is that they're able to register for all of their classes at once by clicking one button. So we had students who actually stayed up till midnight on the opening of registration and clicked that button and got their ideal schedule right away and went back to bed. Now, there are some glitches with the way data was loaded. There are some classes that are not showing up in the program evaluation, so we do need to correct those. But overall, we're pleased with the results. Now, during some of our training sessions, students felt that they had too many choices. They requested more guidance, more restrictions on choosing electives, for example. Also, regarding limitations, remember our institution chose not to require advisor approval for a plan in order for them to register. So we still have to balance that desire to let students have freedom, but also reduce the time and confusion that they feel. So we have to balance that restriction and freedom. DropGuard has been widely used by everyone across campus. Financial aid especially is very pleased with the product. All those offices have access to the summary of events and notices that helps them in decision making. I would like to see our online instructors use the system more. Because online attendance is reported differently through MSVCC, many online instructors are not motivated to go into drop guard to enter absence warnings and also other warnings while they're in there. So we have worked with drop guard to more implement their product into Canvas, and so now we are able to, drop guard is able to sense when a student has not logged on to Canvas, and so now an automatic warning can go out. If a student has not logged on in 7 days, a warning will be sent out. So now we can reach out to those students more quickly, since we do not rely only on instructor input. This brings me to my next topic, which is plans for the future. According to data gathered by Ron Unowski for EDUCAUSE 2013, of the institutions he surveyed about student success software, 81% agree that technology solutions are important to increasing student success, and there's a strong demand for integration of these solutions with learning management systems such as Canvas. Vendors are listening to that demand. This semester, EMCC engaged in an experiment to further integrate drop guard and Canvas, as I said. And this means that risky behaviors are going to be able to be communicated in a more timely way to all key support offices on our campus. Finally, we have to determine if the Ruby Slippers did actually bring Dorothy home. Can we tie student metrics in drop guard to cohort success? Can we examine demographics to see if our early alert system is working? And now we'll take a look at some charts about that data.